You're listening to the Pine Room Podcast, the home of sports, gambling, entertainment, and whatever the hell else has gone on this week. So pull up a seat by the fire, crack open a cold one, and make sure to get your bets in. Welcome to the Pine Room. All right, hello everyone, and welcome into the Pine Room Podcast, episode 83, back in the studio. After a long hiatus, we were out to the penitentiary, to Eric Freeland's Farms, to Jill's Gentleman's Club, and now we're finally back here in the studio. Welcome back. Hope you've enjoyed the past couple of weeks of Halloween fun, but we are back in the saddle, and Thanksgiving is quickly approaching as our next holiday. We're here, myself, Jeff, Chris, Jarrett, and Cools. And we're going to have another action-filled show for you today. We were talking on the radio a little bit about what we've been up to the past couple of weeks and what we got planned. There's a bunch of stuff we got coming up, so look forward to that in 2024. But for now, we're just going to relax, enjoy the next couple of weeks. This Saturday is like the first time we're going to get together on Saturdays in probably 4 weeks. Yeah.
Pump.
Music to Nick's ears.
Yeah. So
yeah, Nick's been a mess about it.
I think, Chris, you said you're doing chili?
Chalk.
Or no, Chalk. Sorry,
Yeah,
Chalk was doing Chalk was doing chili.
Yeah, Chalk's doing chili.
I think I'm gonna make some fresh bread and some gumbo. Then we're gonna.
We got a loaded menu this weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of stuff. So I'm excited. But yeah,
First we should start the Pine Room with 3 claps. We got a professional clapper now.
And noon kickoff.
When was that you started your clapping career?
It was late 80s.
You've been
Was
clapping
that-
for a while.
Who'd you work for?
Yeah, I've been clapping. Be
Some
careful
mo-
what that is.
I was
Like
a
you
hand
say, you
model
have to
first.
clap or you are a clapper.
You got the clap?
You've
That's
had the
what I'm
clap
saying. Be
since the
careful.
80s.
Yeah, that's not good.
When did you? So you were a
Tricky
hand
day.
model
Hand
first
model
for
and
what? Gloves or rings?
Rings and then a TV commercial too.
Like in QVC when they say they're selling a new.
But yeah, like one time they had these real diamond bracelet, and I
And you just put your hand down.
right. So I did that, and then one time I think I laughed and I clapped on the show because something was funny, and they really were impressed with
They
my
said,
clap.
"Hey, Chris, can we talk to you?"
So they put me in touch with an agent, and then it's.
Man, I didn't know that. That was
Professional clapper.
that was
I-
new
I-
to me. I did not know you were part of that.
Yeah, I don't like anybody knowing what I'm doing.
Well,
You don't like that you're humble.
yeah, you don't want to
So
brag
a lot
about
of times
that.
when I'm missing and you guys don't hear from me,
Yeah,
that's
you're
what you're
busy
doing.
clapping.
Is that kind of like we talked about that one show about the sign holder?
Oh yeah.
The sign holder. So now we have this new definition. We got the clapper now.
Yeah.
The
All
sign
right.
holder,
So,
the clapper.
Were you in the clapper commercial back in the early '90s?
Oh, no, that was that old lady, right? Remember that?
Clap
She like-
on.
That old bitch.
Yeah,
Clap on.
and then she'd clap and go off. She smiled,
Why is she a
rolls
bitch?
over, and
Yeah, well, she just
what
looked like an
commercial is
Said
asshole.
that old bitch.
Yeah.
God damn.
Damn.
That's
who
rough.
must not like
She
her?
was. She had
way
that
she
smug.
clapped?
She had
What
that,
did-
that
what-
smug look on her
Was
face.
it just the way
Wait,
she
what?
clapped?
It was hands down the way she
What's
clapped.
the clapper? What?
The
You don't
the
know that?
light.
The clap on, clap off.
Clap
Oh,
on.
I did.
Clap off.
Yeah, I do kind of remember that, but I don't remember the lady. I didn't know she was a bitch.
Yeah, she was.
No,
she had a
I mean,
smug look
That
on her face.
self-proclaimed from Jubber Jub and the
Yeah.
Funky Bunch.
Well,
Is
I'm going to say this though. I think it's as safe to say that lady's dead.
I don't think she's longer with
she's
us.
not?
no longer
She's
clapping.
perished.
Yeah, I think
she
she's
perished.
Is
she's
everything on
long
QVC on sale? Is there
You know
like
what,
ever been not anything on sale like just a
it
normal
makes
price?
you feel warm and fuzzy, Jared, so people buy it. So
Well,
yes,
yeah,
everything's
it
on
does.
sale,
Like
yeah.
when you
Not
see-
everything's like cheap. They don't always have the cheapest prices.
No, I think. Well, I mean, they probably they act like it's marked up, and then he's
Is
found
he
it.
looking up the old
He's
lady?
found the old lady,
Clap
the
on.
clapper lady.
You ought to find out who that lady was and see when
It
she
looks like
died.
Eddie, like
It
Munster
does,
right
right,
there, like
Herman
an Eddie
Munster.
Munster. Yeah, Herman, that's it. Is that Herman?
Yeah.
Hermy.
The clapper TV commercial.
Wow.
If you were just listening to
I'm
this,
gonna set
Jeb has
this up.
found.
I'm gonna set this up. You guys keep talking about the clapper.
Hey, can I bring something up about the prison when we went down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know did I bring this up to you guys about being locked inside there?
Hold on, was this Saturday night conversation?
I don't know if it was at Saturday night or when we were at the bridge.
If it's Saturday night conversation, it's a potential that it's probably gonna be a little bit fuzzy to me.
I'm trying to. Did we do it? Oh no, I think it was Friday night at that party perhaps that we were at. But anyway, after we did that, I go home like the next day or two. I'm thinking, well, we were actually locked in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom, the host, leaves, and he goes and we had to call him back as Matt turned the light off and shut everything down. But so he said he was going to leave, go to the coffee shop. He was watching a soccer game. So let's just say, for instance, he leaves. It probably just goes right down the street. But somebody has a medical emergency inside there. And so we can't get in touch with him, so we call 911.
How in the fuck they get in?
And so, hey, we're down inside the prison doing a podcast. They probably hang up on us. Like, yeah, sure. Right. Yeah, you're inside
sure
of a
you
cell.
are.
Yeah.
No, sir, I swear. We're
All right,
locked inside the prison.
What a new lock jail
All right,
cell.
cellmate 236, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So if Tom, if they can't get in touch with Tom, say then 911 does come and help us. But how are they gonna be able to help us outside
I hope they
the
brought a
cell?
saw.
You had to cut it.
Well, I guess
that
you
even
could
work?
stick the paddles through like someone's having a heart issue.
Yeah, maybe you could do that.
Through the
yeah.
But I just
Maybe
thought,
they could just pull you through.
yeah.
Well, why wouldn't we
You
just
probably
walk
break
out
your.
there?
You probably break your head.
Yeah, but I just thought I think next time we probably don't really need to be actually locked in. I mean,
Yeah, that felt a little unnecessary, but I mean,
Yeah.
it did add to the element, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah,
a little
but I just
spooky.
thought, well, you don't take those things into consideration. But I thought, what if
Well,
we
yeah.
did
Good thing nobody did have a heart attack
or something like
a
because I
seizure.
just thought, yeah, we're going to call 911 and they're going to say, oh yeah, there's 6 guys in the prison doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Pine Room Podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we've heard this
Right.
story before.
yeah. So that was my 2 cents on that.
I never even thought about that. Yeah, but I was thinking today actually about how everything on QVC is on sale.
Yeah, it's a good point though, Jared, and I think that's probably the marketing genius
Absolutely.
behind it all, without a
Yep.
doubt.
Never
And-
happened
and-
to you?
We're at the clapper.
Hold on.
Clapper.
Chris, that
Let
looked
your
like Herman
appliances
Munster at
turn
first, and
on
then not even close.
Just by clapping. Clap on the music.
So you could clap anything. Like, look at that bitch.
Clapper into any household outlet.
It'd be nice if you could just clap and then she gets knocked out.
Clap off.
That's Chris's hands.
Yes,
that was Chris's
exactly.
hands
Wait, that
right
was you?
there. Yes.
Plus,
Oh, wow.
Clapper comes with an extra
Oh, so I didn't realize that
Maybe
the
the end
clapper.
of it, the lady.
and your
Oh, that was Chris right there. Look, watch.
Yeah.
This is Chris.
at
There
that
he is.
face.
Oh,
right
nice
there.
fingers.
God, your
You got
fingers
really nice
hot.
hands,
Damn,
Chris.
Yeah.
God damn, it's soft.
minutes later. turn off.
So,
The clapper
I spent a lot of time in the sun. That's
oh,
what I was-
look
Look at
at
this guy.
appliances plugged
Oh, criminals are thwarted by.
Chris would have fucked him up coming
Yes.
in the house.
Wait, what? Wait, how
There
did
she
Oh,
is.
there
There she is.
Chubb, that was
hell
an
of a
aggressive
Wait a
clap.
minute, but
That
he
was a
said
very
she
aggressive-
was smug.
She was. You see her
She was
face?
smiling.
No. Look at her face.
She
Look at
just
her
got
face.
done
How about
baking
that
cookies
clap?
all day long.
Ready?
Right.
She put it all into that clap.
No.
Look at that. That's a smug face if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, but she's happy she got
Well,
the
you
clapper.
know what? Maybe that guy was going in.
Look at her hair.
Ah.
The guy that was trying to break in, maybe he was a rapist and he saw her and ran.
Well, that's how it wards off. It wards off enemies.
Oh,
How
she
did-
had to be 90.
What? How did it? I don't understand how that worked.
It was if it senses noise, then the lights come on. So imagine if you're just like going about your normal routine, and maybe you're putting a hammer in the or a nail in the wall, and
Every
just
time you
the
hammer,
lights
it'll-
just are going on and off. I think that's why it ended up. People ended up because it just go off for anything.
But you'd have to have it plugged in, and then you'd have to have things plugged into that. So you'd have to have it in every goddamn outlet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
you're-
someone wanted to sell you like a nice home security system. You said, "Nah, we're good with the clap." I mean, okay.
the lights turn on. We're good.
but this right here actually may have been the initial stages of truly infomercials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this is-
definitely.
This is the infancy stages right here for sure.
Chris, your brother was a big infomercial as seen on TV guy. He had that. Remember when he got the he bought that hose?
Shamzammy.
What was the hose that he bought?
No, it was a thing that went on the end. It was like a handle, and it had a brush with those things
Oh
on it.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it shot the soap out of the
Oh
brush.
yeah, was that the Sham
They love
Zammy?
guys like him because
Yeah, well, and he bought it and it didn't work. I think it got them all wet because it leaked and
Yeah.
it got all of them. And then
Right.
still the one that he bought those knife set
Oh,
from Ron Popeil.
yeah. He always talked about those.
But why? And I remember seeing that. Oh, they promoted that all the time. Why there were 39 knives in that?
Well,
Like one just it said on there you could slice a bagel. So that's the only use it had.
Oh,
honey,
so you
get
can-
the bagel knife.
Right.
So you
Ron
gotta- so-
Popeil knives.
get
That's what it was
through-
So
called.
you had to,
38 knives.
root through 38 of them.
Right.
You had probably a
Well,
fillet.
no, I mean, I think some of them ended up in the yard all rusty.
It's funny because my
With
my
30.
niece just is in Morgantown, and that was that's a job thing now. And I think, excuse me, not now. It's been for years on selling knives. You go around, and it's actually, if you can go to somebody's house and sell them a set of knives, it does bring upon a lot of skills. But it just wasn't for her. But it's like a pyramid scheme where I go to Jub and I try to sell Jub, and then Jub gives me 10 names, and I got to go to them 10
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Yeah, good old pyramid scheme.
there it is.
Here's a couple of the worst as seen on TV items. This number 20 is the poo trap. It was
Did
a
you say
thing.
the poo trap?
Poo trap. Yeah, and it was I'm almost certain that it was a bag that attached under a dog's tail. So when they went on a walk and went to take a dump, it would just go right into the bag instead of you having to pick it up. So it was like this little bag that like was right around its like butthole, and then they just sat,
That's
crouched.
interesting. That is very, very
I think the
interesting.
shake weight should be up there too.
Was that an as seen on TV? That
Yeah, oh, definitely was.
it? What, hey, I found the Ron Popeil, the 20 knives set. There's 20 knives.
Oh, 20. Okay, maybe.
Showtime knife, bread, chef, saw, boning, sportsman, chop and serve, cheese, cleaver, utility, paring, garnish, and then 6 steak knives with a sharpener and then a solid flavor injector.
What's the definition of a showtime? What's a showtime?
That's
That's
it
when
kinda
you
looks
got
like-
guests over. and you
it looks like a knife that's it's got like 2 little points on the end. It looks like probably a turkey carver. I think it's a turkey
yeah,
carver.
carving knife. There you go.
That makes sense.
So I
Yeah.
guess Showtime, like
That
when
makes
you're
sense. And actually, speaking of that, not to completely change the subject, because we'll go back to this. Did you guys see the commercial where Showtime's on?
no.
Our girl, she's on a law commercial from St. Clairsville.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Seen it yesterday.
Good for her. Good for her.
From the fighting ring to the
law
ring
firm.
of law.
A sportsman knife. This thing looks really interesting.
Cool. The shake weight is number 2 on the list of worst as seen on
Yeah,
TV.
see, I think
brands.
it'd be
Good
up
good
there.
call, Cool.
Yeah.
That's the one where it's supposed to lose fat. Is that what it is?
It's
like
just like
the-
a dumbbell that would shake.
Yeah, and you were doing this.
Well,
all
yeah,
day.
the jerk
it was
off.
awful.
Yeah,
This is basically the jerk off.
yeah, and it became just like
a-
how
It was
they
so
thought
dumb.
but maybe that then again probably was great for them because probably a lot of people bought it because
Well-
it was such a joke. Like it became a joke.
Chris, do you remember back in the day, because these guys won't remember this, do you remember the thing that they came out, it was like right after treadmills became very big, they came out and you had a belt that wrapped around you and shook you, and
Oh.
the goal was to shake the fat off of you?
Oh yeah.
So it came same concept with this weight thing.
Yeah, I know exactly what
really?
you're talking
I
about.
think
it
Babe
was like
Ruth
a
did that.
it was like a
Really?
cloth.
I think there's a video of Babe Ruth and something where they're like shaking him.
Trying to shake his
yeah,
fat
that's
off.
like his workout.
Guess
for
what?
the
It
day.
doesn't work.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
don't think
doesn't.
so.
It doesn't.
The
Yeah,
number
what-
1 worst product is the sauna plant or sauna pants. My apologies there.
What's that?
I think
It was similar to more recent portable sauna. Sauna pants are promised to help you sweat in the areas you need it most. These are bulky, uncomfortable pants that heat up the lower half of your body in the hopes of making you sweat, and they also need to be plugged in, meaning that you need to be sitting within 5 feet of an outlet, so probably on the floor. Another criticism is that they come in one size, and many report an uncomfortable fit, despite the fact that they're adjustable. Needless to say, the sauna pads are one of the dumbest products ever.
Never even heard of that.
Never heard of it any. But we talked about on the radio. We were talking about Thanksgiving, and I think we've mentioned this on the show before, probably last year during the same time.
Makes sense.
Jeff, you said you're out. You're waning out of your turkey dinner days.
I truly do love I love Thanksgiving first and foremost as a holiday, and I love being able to get family together. I hate how we do truly skip, like the wife's getting ready to decorate for Christmas this week. Drives me nuts. I understand a little early, but fuck, man, we got to at least get to Thanksgiving. But I do love the holiday, and I used to be a huge Thanksgiving dinner guy, and it's not that I hate it, but I'm definitely starting to wane a little bit from that
Well,
dinner.
Luke doesn't like it. Does
Hates
he?
it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
What do
hates it.
you like it, Chris?
Yeah, but I can do without turkey. Well,
I
you guys
agree.
talk about that today, and I prefer ham over turkey every
Cooley
day.
is converting.
Yeah. I used to be a big turkey guy. Now I'm slowly becoming a ham guy the older I get.
I like all the fixings with. I like the stuffing and the potatoes and gravy. But
Turkey's a good meat to mix with other stuff. Like ham, I don't really mix as much, but like turkey, I can mix in with the mashed potatoes and the gravy and like all that.
See, I feel like that's an
just a
untrustworthy
filler.
meat.
You can't
It doesn't
trust
have much
turkey.
taste.
You can't trust it.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Because the fact of the matter, you have to mix it
You
with
have
other
to
things.
mix it. It's unreliable.
It can't stand alone.
Yeah.
Can't. So here's the dumb question. So if you guys hate turkey, that is the true turkey that you put in the oven. What? And I know the answer to you because you don't like cold sandwiches.
Yeah.
I love turkey deli.
I do too.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
an oxymoron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't do turkey. Not a turkey guy at all. I don't do cold deli meats. I mean, I'll do like maybe salami or if that is, does that even count?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was like
It's
lunch
more of
meat.
a processed meat. Than
Yeah,
it
but
is.
I'm not a huge like turkey ham kind of guy.
Mm.
Either way, I don't turkey. I think Thanksgiving turkey is. I told Job on the radio that it stinks. It's dry. It's bland.
Stinks.
And
But
most
maybe the $100 Popeye chicken that I sent you guys, or turkey that I sent you guys today, might be
With the Cajun on it.
yes, the
Cajun.
Cajun style Popeye's turkey, $100.
I just
Would
don't
you guys
think
buy
it's,
it?
I don't think
No.
it's worth all the effort it goes into like my uncle on my mom's side, my uncle Bob. Like, I feel like he gets so stressed out making a turkey, like it's the biggest event of the year. Like you know, you got to make sure that if you can't make it too long, or it's too dry. And if you go too short, obviously it's going to be raw. But that thing is just
Well,
like I just don't feel like it's
And
worth
when you're
it.
fixing it for other people,
Yeah.
you want it to be perfect.
Exactly.
So that I can see the stress and
And I think it's a valid
anxiety.
point too. And that's what I feel bad for about Thanksgiving. You're right, and I don't do any of it, but I feel bad because it does seem like a shit ton of work.
Yeah.
And it consumes your whole day because you got to get up butt crack at dawn to
Yeah.
get the turkey in, blah blah blah, this and that. So it's really not fair to the group of people. It's work.
Yeah.
It's truly work.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And me and Joe were talking on the radio today. It's like I didn't know how expensive turkeys were because I've never in my life cooked a turkey or been anywhere near cooking any Thanksgiving food. So I was like, we were looking up like a butterball
heard
turkey's like $35. I had no idea
well,
it was
it's
that
funny
expensive.
you brought that up because I was at Save-A-Lot yesterday and they have a frozen end case where they have two different kind of honeysuckles, but one was $1.69 a pound, the other one was $1.99 a pound, and they were roughly 16 to 20 pounds. And so do the math, and it's about, like you said, 36.
Yeah, see, I
38
didn't
bucks.
know it was that like. I don't know why. I don't know how expensive I thought it was.
Popeye's $100.
I would say probably because it's kind of like
Convenience.
convenience. They do everything for you, and it's kind of like
Surprised like KFC doesn't do that. It's like a big chicken place like Raising Cane's or
I guess
KFC.
Popeyes is kind of ahead
Setting
of
the trend. You
I-
can do like Bob Evans and stuff like that. Does the whole Thanksgiving meal in places
Now,
like that.
Jeffrey, you may know this, because when I was there yesterday, I bought a small. It was like a not even a half a ham, but it was a sugared ale. But hams usually are already cooked, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about turkeys? Are they?
No, I don't think
See,
so.
that's why you can't trust them. Just
That's
like
right.
Chubb said.
they're
It's a good point.
frozen.
So
a good point.
I mean, you could actually just unwrap that ham and just slice and eat it. Like
I mean, technically, I think yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm not a cook, so but I know she. We just had ham for dinner last night. And I know she ended up putting it in the crock pot.
your wife's amazing.
Yeah, wow,
I mean,
it was good.
she is.
yeah, I mean, she does a fucking lot.
I was
She does.
I look today. I was reading some of these reviews on the Popeyes Cajun turkey. They're very mixed.
Can I call real quick, like a 5-second timeout? How big was that turkey? And for $100, like how many pounds?
I think it's
It's-
full size. I think it's like a big
Just
bucket.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
couldn't
it's-
really tell.
I mean,
I thought it looked
some
like
of these
a rotisserie.
like 46% of them are 1-star reviews.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
There's 12 ratings out of those 12. 26% is 5-star, 27% 4-star, and then 46% 1-star. So the 1-star Popeye's turkey is boiled, not fried. So a lot of people, I guess it used to be a fried turkey, and now I guess they moved to boiled for whatever reason.
Boiled
All right.
turkey?
Here's something that, speaking of turkey, and this brings up what I wanted to do on the last Halloween podcast, but we didn't do it. So I'm kind of extending Halloween for a second here. I had picked out a few urban legend stories that I wanted to tell you guys, and I want to hear you guys react to these stories. So this first one is called the baby roast. or also the hippie babysitter.
Is that how it relates to turkey?
Yes. So I'm trying to find where I can read the whole story here, but this is basically a story that I heard on another podcast a long time ago. So there was basically a young couple that had just had a baby, and they were excited about this new baby. It's like maybe a couple months old, but I think they were either going to a party or some kind of Broadway show that was coming into town that night. So they wanted to hire a babysitter, and they talked to a young girl on the phone, and the young girl, she says, oh, yeah, they think she's great, so they invite her over, and then they discover that she's a hippie. When she gets there, she's a hippie. So they talk to her. They tell her, hey, we're going to go to the show. We'll be back in a couple hours. Just do what you need to do with the baby. They left instructions for her, yada, yada, yada. It's a couple-month-old baby. So they go to this play, and they watch the first half of the play. During the intermission, they call back to the babysitter, and the babysitter says, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's great. You know, the baby's doing well. I'm really hungry though, and I want to. I roasted and I stuffed the turkey that you guys had. And the mom goes, well, okay, that's fine. And she looks to the husband and says, I don't remember having a turkey, honey. And the husband goes, didn't really pay much attention to it. And they go back into the play, and watch the rest of the play for however long it is, and then a couple hours pass and they come home. So they come home, they come into the house, and they find out, and they see on the floor laying in the living room that the hippie girl is tripping out on LSD or like on some sort of acid or something. So she's out cold, and they can't find the baby.
Sure, this is going.
So they're looking all through the house, and they smell the roast chicken or the turkey that the hippie had made, and they go, it smells nice, but it doesn't smell like I remember a turkey smelling. So they go into the kitchen, and they find in the kitchen, actually in the freezer, in foil, the baby half eaten and stuffed with stuffing, roasted by the hippie.
What the fuck, y'all?
Do you think that? All right, okay. Now this is what I'm gonna ask. Do you think that comes from truth?
Yeah. I think everything happened.
Is this Jeffrey Dahmer? No.
You don't think that comes from truth?
I'm gonna say no.
My thing is, why would the family? Why would you go? Like, it had to be a really good play for them to leave a several-month-year-old baby at the house, like with an unknown person. I know I wouldn't do that.
What, with the acid queen?
Yeah, especially if they find out that she's a hippie.
Do you know if this is true or not, or you just?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't think the hippie plays a role in it at all, because most of the time hippies are so laid back and kicked back that actually probably not bad babysitters. But I don't. At the end of the day, no, I'm not leaving my 2-month-old kid with somebody that I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
that's absurd.
I don't think it's a real story,
Well,
but
they
it
didn't
was
have
just
one family member they could turn to.
Yeah, they were by the. Maybe they moved.
Yeah.
They didn't have
We
any.
went to that play on Friday night, and I was shell-shocked. Now, granted, I know they're probably there and they have family members, but I was shell-shocked the amount of truly infant babies that were at that play on Friday night.
Really?
Which I think is kind of... Now, the only thing that I'll give them credit for, literally any squawk, they removed themselves, which is cool. But I was just surprised. I mean, there was probably like 50 people there, 50, 60 people there, and there was probably like at least 5 babies.
Oh, so if the baby cried, they left?
Mm-hmm.
Did you
See,
take?
It's a stand-up move.
That's
What's the way it
actually
should be.
Yeah,
That's the way it
because
should
a
be.
lot of people probably wouldn't think of doing that.
Like that was even back in the day. A lot of people's bitching. Chris, you could probably speak on behalf of this. Going to church. I mean, a lot of people would bitch about the fact where they don't get anything out of church because of the baby's crying or this and that.
Yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
It's a catch-22
yeah.
because it's supposed to be a family atmosphere, and back in the day, Father Miles welcomed that.
I mean, I don't think a baby gets much out of church. I mean,
no, but it's taking the bitches was you want people to come to church, so the only way to come to church is you got to bring your
baby.
kids.
Yeah.
But then you have your older people that have been there, done that. That's there to actually try to get something out of the mass, and Jub's baby's crying the whole damn time.
I'll tell you what, I won't bring unless my kid is like a mute or well behaved until it's a certain age to be able to function. then I'm not gonna.
See, that's not to contradict you, and you can obviously do whatever the fuck you want to do in life, but I don't think that's the right thought process. We had Luke out day one because the whole goal is you try to mold them in the atmosphere to teach them how you're supposed to act.
Yeah.
If you remove them from that situation, they're never going to know how to act.
No, but you don't think there should be like a grace period?
No, I don't. And well, here's the deal. I'm not saying we're right, but we never did.
Because I don't think a baby even really knows where it is. Like within, I mean, I didn't gain consciousness until I was like 4.
I don't know, but I guess they can start to learn. I guess I don't know.
Till you gain consciousness.
Yeah, think about it. When
He was asleep for
remember,
4
I mean,
years.
think
4
about
years,
it.
he
You
was-
don't remember. You don't remember when you're a baby.
No, but I don't remember shit from last week either.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, what's
Saturday
the earliest?
night.
The earliest memory you have is not like when you're 1, 2, 3.
Well, we talked about this on this show.
Yeah, we did. I remember talking
our
about
earliest year.
Yeah,
Or
but I
early
think
to remember.
I think for a certain amount of time, I think you're not like I wasn't there. I
Well,
don't.
no, you wouldn't. As a year-old kid, I agree with that. You're not going to have that recollection on what transpired.
Wonder why that is. Wonder if that's
I guess
just like
because your brain probably isn't fully
yeah. But
developed.
do you think
I
like
guess.
why do we not remember like being born? You think it'd just be too like traumatic for your
Your
Yeah.
brain's like a
Like-
peanut at that.
yeah, but I
Maybe
mean,
not
you would
that.
think that you would recollect something, but like you literally don't. You literally could not remember anything.
I'm sure there's some dickheads out there that claim they do remember.
Oh,
it.
for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, yeah, that would be. You think about it, you're traveling down the birth canal, then all of a sudden you come
Yeah.
out like that'd be.
I think it'd
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
too
it'd be
harrowing.
like, oh shit.
shit,
I'm
wow.
like, wow,
Huh?
what's this? This
It's
is
Talk
got to
about
be that.
trippy.
It's got to be that because if you'd remembered that your whole life, I feel like that'd mess you up.
Chris, what's your thoughts about the church thing?
Well, I was just thinking about that, and and we had gone to church, religiously for a long, long time, and I remember taking the kids when they were young, and not maybe the exact same, but when they would act up, or I didn't want them to be a distraction, so we'd go to the back. But there'd be other families, just that the kid would be crying and just climbing everywhere and just being unruly. And you're thinking to yourself, when are they going to take this kid out of here? And I would, and you can't blame the kid.
No.
It's like, hey, dickhead mom, take that kid out of here.
No, I agree with you.
Because then it does take away from the mass.
Mm-hmm.
If trying to listen to the message or the readings, whatever, and then you got some kid that's just being unruly. But I didn't have it didn't bother me that much, but I just think you should have a better handle on the kids, and if they're loud and obnoxious, then get them out.
I
Hit 'em
get
with a
way more
ruler.
frustrated with the parents than ever with the
Yes.
baby.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because it's like you got a kid like on an airplane that's crawling all over the seats, like screaming, and it's not a baby; it's like a toddler that can be corrected, and the mom just sits there like. The
I think
kid
it goes
owns the
back to
plane.
what we always talk about, the word self-aware and having respect for your fellow man. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, if somebody is at church and they're there for the right reasons, my kid should not ruin your experience.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'll piggyback off of this and kind of same subject, not same subject. Like Friday night before we went to that play, we went to dinner. What's your guys' honest opinion of people that answer cell phones at dinner time and have full-blown conversations at dinner time?
dickhead.
like
Total
with
dickhead.
like
Dickhead.
with you or
No.
like in the restaurant.
In the restaurant at that time, and I think it still goes back to like it's about the experience. You work hard all week and you're looking to go enjoy a meal and relax in this, and now you got to hear some fucking dickhead
Yeah.
on the
Just
phone.
Well, no,
step
but how about the
outside.
guy? And I've several times they have the other person on speaker.
Well, that's
that's like-
bad.
I
That's so bad.
I have the rule of thumb: if somebody calls me during dinner, I will pick up. But my goal is the person within 5 feet from me should not be able to hear what I'm saying.
And that's
No,
fair. If that's the case, then I don't think it's a big deal. But
Yeah.
like this cat, I was part of his conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I think that's in any case. If you're in public and you answer the phone, nobody should be able to hear what you're talking about.
Well, that happens all the time too. Like, and I don't grocery shop, but I know like a lot of people have like walking around the mall or like. I guess I'm so confused that you're that important or that conversation's that important that it's taking away from what your goal is because it's going to procrastinate your goal. If you're
Yeah.
grocery shopping, you talking on the phone, you're not grocery shopping.
Unless you're talking to whoever is like
Like,
maybe
hey, I
maybe
need to
you're
get-
calling
to
Cheryl
be
and-
able to get what you need or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah,
Yes.
But if you're talking about hey, you and Bobby want to go down to the bar on Wednesday,
Yeah,
just
right.
blows me
right.
away.
Yeah.
But do you think that most people do that because they put themselves up, they feel like they're important and like, hey, look at me kind of thing? Because I think it would work. I wouldn't want to be the center of attention where
No.
somebody goes,
yeah.
fuck's that dude doing kind of thing.
I was
absolutely. Well, I think it's that. I think it's either you want to be the center of attention, or they're just so oblivious to what the hell's going on around them.
think
It's
it's
just
that.
like,
I think there's
like,
a lot of that too.
hello, yeah, I'm in the store right now. What do you need? What's up? Like, I don't know. People are just.
I
stupid.
mentioned this
Yeah.
early. It might have been on the first podcast that I was in a movie theater, and this is the first time it ever happened to me where I heard a phone ring, and the guy didn't just shut off. He picked up and answered, and everybody in the theater was like, "Hey, dude, shut the hell up! Like, we're watching this
Everybody
movie."
called him out.
Oh yeah, it was
Super
awesome.
cool.
It was so cool. Like the dude, I think some dude literally got up and just said, "Hey, dude, shut the fuck up!" Like right at him, and then he hung his phone up, or I think he left. But either way, I thought that was great.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, just getting back to the church thing with the cell phones and people like you talk about not being aware. Like you go in and your cell phone, the volume's up real loud and it rings.
I hate that.
Turn it just, I mean.
I hate that. My dad has that issue sometimes. He does it a lot.
Yeah, he's not very good.
Well,
Well,
I can
him and technology, but and we were talking about this in one of our meetings over the week with the ladies at came in E3, and they came and helped us out a little bit. They were laughing because my dad was talking about how he's not good with technology, and they just said you should like have a camera follow him around and try to get him to learn technology because he's so bad at that. Just simple ringer, and I'm always like, turn it off when we get to the radio. Turn it off, but he has it always on ringer right by the mic, and it goes bing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of people on their phone, we went. Forget what we were doing here. I think we had either a podcast or maybe a radio show early or something, and I was here by myself. Oh, no, I'll tell you what it was. It was Friday after these guys got done at Elm Grove, and I'm here by myself, and I didn't have a car because I think he dropped me off. Jared dropped me off. So I went and I sat down at the waterfront. I walked over to the waterfront. It was nice out, so I sat down and sat at the waterfront. It's really nice down there.
It is nice
It's
down
a
there.
beautiful setting down there. And I'm sitting there, and I start hearing, like, coming up from West Banco, so it's like 200 yards away. I start hearing this yelling, and it's a girl's voice. She's MFing, like, and, like, saying, and she's white, like white as our ceiling, like couldn't be any whiter than me, and she starts saying the N-word, like just dropping it, like right, like as she's on the phone, like dropping it, and I'm like, am I this can't be real, and I turn around and she's this whale of a human being, and she's just no care for anybody. She's just sloppily dressed, and I heard every word of her conversation on the phone, and it's her MFing because her baby daddy beat the shit out of her, and now she's dating another guy that doesn't want anything to do with her, and now she's going to take him to court.
Oh, so you know the whole thing.
Oh, I knew the whole thing, and I was so mad because it was nice and peaceful. I was reading on my iPad, and this bitch comes to walking up just like the lady in the Clapper commercial. She's smug. She thinks she knows everything, and she comes up and just screaming into her phone, like MFing this guy on a phone talking about it, and then. So I'm sitting there for the full 30 minutes. She's screaming into her phone, and I'm looking back at her like, and she knows I'm looking at her, and every time I look at her, she kind of picks it up a little bit, and I think she was doing it for a show. At least that's what I thought. So we were putting the set down at the Capitol Theater, which we can talk about the dance here in a second, but we're putting the set in there and trying to test it out on the stage so we can roll it out. And as we're coming to put the stuff out into the alleyway so we can keep it there, I'll be damned, she comes across the suspension bridge on her phone screaming. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Screaming into her phone. Same bitch doing the same thing. And it pisses me off so bad that nobody, and I wish I had the balls. Like, I think you could do it. I couldn't do it. To just say, hey, no, I'm here to relax. It's beautiful here. Just shut the hell up. Like, you're ruining everybody else's experience, and not to mention she's this disgusting beast of a fucking
She's probably
bitch.
making it up. She's probably schizo, and she's probably just like, this whole thing is like she thinks it's cool, and she actually thinks she has a baby daddy and a baby mama that's mad, and
She did
she's
get
making
quiet.
the whole thing up.
She did get quiet. I stood up and I made a point to walk close to her, and she did get quiet when I walked past her. But then she just picked back up. Right
You should be able to grab her phone and just whip it into the river.
It probably wasn't even a real phone.
I'd rather break it first.
Yeah, maybe slam it,
down,
then
and
throw it in the river.
it, yeah.
I'm going to give the preface that I do not condone any man laying their hands on a woman because it's fucked up, but he didn't hit her hard enough.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just
Well, and you talk, speaking of, this is one of the coolest things I'd seen when you talk about cell phones. This goes back, God, probably 7-8 years. They were playing travel ball, I think. I don't think it was Wheeling Park's team, but anyway, we were in Wheeling, and we all decided to go to TJ's. And there was probably, the adults, and I don't know if the whole team, maybe 8 girls, whatever. And that guy, he's been working at TJ's for, I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. If you saw him, you might know. But anyway, as we come in and we sat down, it was funny. And the girls went along with it. He said, all right, he had a bag. He said, put all your cell phones in here. You're going to sit here with your parents and your friends, and you're going to talk while you eat. You're not going to be on your phone.
Oh, that's super cool.
And every kid put their phone in there. And I thought because how many times you see it at the dinner table?
Good for the girls for putting
they
them in
did.
there.
And
good for
there were
them.
a couple girls that I thought wouldn't do it, but they did.
Ah,
But no, I thought it was pretty cool because I was like, yeah, and that's how it should be. I mean, I bet if you, Cheryl, and Luke were having dinner and Luke's got his fucking head in his phone.
I'll be honest. If we out to eat, which we don't eat out much anymore. None of us. That's the rule. And then even at the dinner table, maybe at the end, but at the end of the day, if that's truly our time, so no, phones are out.
Actually,
is it Jimmy? Is that who you're talking about, Jimmy? The guy that is retired now that doesn't work there anymore?
The guy that's been there, that was there forever.
That always used to seat you and clean off tables and stuff. But he was the man. He was next to TJ.
That's who it was. Then. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, he made him do it. And they complied. And,
good for the girls for doing
it
too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I try to, when we're at the dinner table with my parents and family, I try to stay off of it. But sometimes I'm one of those.
Slip up. But
yeah,
it's not a perfect storm. It's not.
Yeah. We had a great weekend. That was fun. For about the past 5 weeks, we pretended that we were going to be Soup Stage Crew, and we ended up dancing in Ohio, or dancing with the Ohio Valley Stars, which that was probably one of the most terrifying and yet highlights of my life. So
that was one of the best kept secrets ever,
without a doubt.
Yeah, for people that might not know, Soup got invited to Dancing with the Ohio Valley Stars to represent the Pine Room, for the first probably, I think he'd been practicing probably for a couple weeks before,
3 or 4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks before he found out that he could have backup dancers, and usually everybody just gets girls from the studios that they dance from, but
which he could have easily done.
Yeah, he could have easily gotten just the girls to do it and been a backup, but he said, "Do you guys want to do it?" Actually, I don't even really remember if he asked me. Conan was like, he said, "Hey," he called me one day and said, "You're not gonna believe this. I can have backup dancers." Like, and it wasn't even really like, "Do you want to do it?" It just kind of was like, "You're in." And I was like, "I mean, yeah, okay, I'm in."
He called me, and I'll never forget. I woke up from a nap. He called me, and he said, "Hey, I got a proposition for you. So we got the dance coming up. I just found out that we can have backup dancers." And I knew it was coming, and he goes, I talked to Jarrett, because he knew I was going to be the hardest one to convince. So he called him first and called Cooley first and said, these two are already in. It's up to you. And if you're in, then we're going to do it. And I was like, oh, I can't say no.
You got strong-armed almost.
Yes, so then I was like,
you
all
got
right.
clapped.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
clapped.
I said, let's talk to Jarrett. I'll talk to Jarrett, and then I ended up doing it. And,
Well, I know this much, and I know I said it last night. It's going to sound really cheesy. Super proud of all you guys, because at the end of the day, it is true. You get up there and do something that is not your mantra, and it's completely out of your guys' comfort level. And I think it's important to be able to step outside of your comfort level and do shit like that, but to actually do it is super badass. You guys did a wonderful job. And I think that whole production, and I know we talked about last night on the call, even if I don't know anybody moving forward, I will hands down go to that. That thing was a blast.
Absolutely.
Man.
It was. Augusta Levy was just awesome, and Taylor Rise, who kind of ran the whole thing, she was awesome. We had her on the radio a couple of times. But just it genuinely to me was like, it was a fun, it was so really fun. Like going to practice dance, and the girls that we worked with, Peyton, Lexi and Jill they were just unbelievable. The way they conduct themselves, and we were talking about this, Cooley and I, the way that these girls act, you wouldn't even believe that they're as young as they are. Every dance girl seems to carry themselves, and I don't know whether it's because of the structure of the dance, like culture. I don't know. Every one of them is so mature and so polite that like it was so nice working with them, and they were awesome. They helped us out whenever we needed. Like Jub was struggling with a couple parts, and every time he said, "Hey, can we do it?" There, no problem. And even like me and Cooley and I, everybody said, "Hey, can we like work on a little part?" No problem. They don't care. They were awesome to help. Peyton Nickerson, and I've played with a lot of really good athletes. Been around a lot. She is honestly probably one of the best athletes I've ever been around. What she's able to do on this, it is incredible.
I mean, she was doing some solo work, and I don't know the lingo about dance. I don't know like the landscape of dance. I don't know what constitutes what, but she was doing this solo routine that she has to do. I think coming up here soon for something, and I couldn't. I sat there and watched it like 2 times over, and I couldn't. Like I would have sat there and watched it a couple more times. Number one, how athletic she is. Number 2, how quickly she can adapt to herself. Like if she wants to change something, she just changes it immediately, like within a heartbeat. And how all those girls in there work well with each other. Like they all, like if she has a partner, Peyton with an A and Peyton with an E. They bounce ideas off each other. Like it was incredible to watch. Like two minds that are on the same wavelength that are able to do the same thing. It was incredible, and they were like editing as like live editing as we're doing our things, stuff they wanted to change, stuff they wanted to add. It was phenomenal. Peyton Nickerson, so sweet. After our when we got to the first dress rehearsal down at the Capitol, she gave myself, Jarrett, Cooley, and Soup little cards and said thank you for working with us. She was proud of us, and she got us like Starbucks gift cards.
I know, which is
So we got to hook her up with some. It was just the whole thing really was just incredible. I know I keep saying it, but going and I don't know how much longer we could have got away with. I don't know if we could have. We just kept saying, yeah, we got to go help Soup with his dance. We're going to be the prop guys.
Well, it started to leak out at the end. It started.
Yeah, it started.
It's a slippery slope.
It started because somebody said, I think it might have been Peyton's mother, maybe, that talked to you, Chris, and said that her daughter was dancing with us guys.
No, it was Jill's. It was Jill's dad, who works at a bank, I think.
Somebody said that they had talked to you and said that they were dancing with us, and I don't think the girls knew that we were keeping it a secret, and they were just saying it. So it kind of started and then we saw some other girls at the dance academy that knew, like our parents or whoever, and I think they may have said a few things. So it started to leak out of the and especially with the rehearsal early in the morning, all the people that were there saw it too. So
yeah, it was a ton of fun though. I mean,
oh my God, it was
at
fun.
the end of it, I was kind of sad.
I was too.
I look forward to practices every week. I was looking forward to the dance, and then once it was over, I was like, man,
I was like, oh, we're not gonna see him anymore.
Yeah, I was like, we
felt
can
like
friends
goodbye
all
forever.
Well, I think a lot of it is too. I know we're really bad as people that live here in Wheeling, West Virginia, on busting balls on Wheeling, West Virginia. There's nothing to do. Blah blah blah. You know, at the end of the day, there is a lot of things. To
absolutely.
do. Whether you choose to do them or not is a totally different.
You got to look for it.
You got to look for it. You really do. And I understand maybe that is a lack of marketing, or maybe that's what Wheeling needs to do a better job of promoting stuff. Maybe that's where they lack on their end. And I'm not saying it's not New York City, and if anybody thinks it's going to be New York City, you need to fucking move to New York City.
Yeah.
But I do think there's plenty of things. That's number one. Number two, I think being a destination as the Capitol is, you think about the names and the history behind the Capitol Music Hall, it's unbelievable. If you look at the people that have been there, and granted, it probably wouldn't mean much to our generation, but you talk to people that have rolled through the talent and entertainers and stuff like that, we're talking huge, huge names. The other side of that is you forget, I haven't been to the Capitol in a long time. I was telling the wifey, man, you roll in there, and granted, I know it's a little old school, but they've updated a lot of things as well. Place is fucking beautiful, man.
It's awesome.
I mean,
is.
you're talking about aesthetically, and I don't know, and maybe I'm just an idiot, but if you look around at the art and how that place is built and how old school it is and stuff like that. It's just it's an impressive place. And then you throw in the fact of matter, their sound system. I mean, that some of that pounding, it was going through my chest that night, which in retail gets you into the show because you're kind of jacked up and the music's
You can
feeling
hear
good.
it underneath, too.
Yeah, the vibe and stuff like that. So I think all of that is unbelievable, and I just think sometimes we all want to throw shade on good old Welland, West Virginia. I just choose to not go out and be a loser, but there is things to do if I wanted to do.
Well,
Yeah.
most people that complain about there not being enough to do around here, I feel like it's who you surround yourself with. Like, if
True.
you just don't have friends that want to do much. Like, I being friends with all these guys and you guys, like, we look for stuff to do. Like, Soup finds millions of things for us to do. So I feel like if you want to find something to do, you can find it here.
Because realistically, I mean, sure, you might find more volume of stuff to do in New York, but I mean, what else are you going to do in New York City? That you can't? I mean, obviously, there's going to be like 40 different Broadway shows going on, 40 different orchestras or jazz bars going on, but that's not like you can't find that stuff here. I mean, it might be at a smaller venue and a smaller amount, but I don't know. I think the area gets a definite bad rap just because of what it is. I mean, I some people I think like to just, I don't know,
just throw shade. And the other part to that is you sitting there really bragging, all you guys bragging about the girls and just what type of talent that takes. And I think it's super cool on how people that are not involved with something or that have never been involved with how you guys probably learned an appreciation for how much work, how much time. I mean, the muscle memory and the mindset that has to go into that. I mean, those people, man, use the word athlete. For anybody to think they're not athletes, then you're fucking
you're an
ridiculous.
idiot.
You're a total idiot.
You're an ignorant.
I told somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to, I said I have a very much newfound respect for dancers because they are, that day, we went in there and I think Peyton was telling us that not only does she go to school all day, she goes to school from 7 to 2:30, comes to the studio and probably doesn't get done till 9 o'clock. And grinds that out.
Days, man.
With not only does she do stuff for herself because she's got competitions and things that she wants to be in, but she's teaching kids that are 3, 4, 5 years old. I mean, it's
like that little girl we saw in there. She got done dancing real quick, comes sprinting out into the lobby, eats a cheeseburger, and goes right back in to dancing again.
And I gotta say this: I've shit on parents of kids before on here, especially because like I've been around baseball and kids, they're parents of players in younger sports like Pinto and Mustang, and for the majority in this day and age, parents suck with
without a doubt
little league sports. But every one of those mothers that was in that dance academy that I had met, and there were a couple dads in there too that I had talked to, incredibly nice. Every one of them incredibly nice. We didn't belong there, and we obviously looked like we didn't belong there. There's
out.
50 little girls and then 3 or 4 guys that
Weirdos.
Look, yes.
It was a little like when we walk in.
And the
"Damn,
owners-
they're gonna really like.
You guys should have rocked some tights.
Yeah.
The owners were
We
so
might have
nice.
got kicked out then.
It turned out the owners were just so nice to us. They told us all about it, like talking about their schedules, what they got coming up. They invited us to be a part of, like, they do a fitness thing on Tuesdays. So Turn It Out Dance Academy. If you have a kid or you're going to have a kid or a cousin or a friend that wants to get into dance, Turn It Out, I think, is your place to go. I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody else, but just from our experience at Turn It Out, and they got some bling they got some, what do they call
Hardware.
that? Yeah, they got some hardware. You walk in there and you see about 50 trophies and you think they know what they're doing.
It's such a different world that I literally, and like you were saying, I've never been a part of anything like it, and just kind of learning throughout the 5 weeks that we practiced was so cool. Like, and with the girls too, like we're learning simple little things, and like they immediately like know exactly. And I guess that's with anything if you do it a lot, but just I have so much respect for them. Like Jubb said, just a newfound respect of dance. Maybe we'll have to go to some
Jubb,
competitions.
Do you remember my favorite part of all of it?
Oh yeah, before we went out to the actual audition, the rehearsal down at the Capitol, we came in and did a rehearsal in TIO turnout, and we had to come in full dress, and we did it in front of the whole academy. So there's all these little girls, like I'm like 50 to maybe 70 little girls all sat around in like a semicircle against the wall. And there are boys there too, so I don't want to say it's just girls, but we come in and you would have thought we were like WWE wrestlers. Like they were going nuts. They were cheering. And
Really?
it
was incredible.
It was so
Awesome.
cool.
It was great.
They
I
were
felt
all
like
cheering
LeBron.
and clapping, and they actually they cheer for the first time, and they kind of start to die down, and then he goes up in the front and just like goes like, "Hey!" and they all start cheering again.
It was
Oh, that's
awesome.
super cool.
It was
Yeah.
really cool. And
I felt like a celebrity.
yeah, and all those people, the girls, and then the owners of the place were so like you really would like we weren't like
They just treated
we're
us like we were one of
fucking
them.
idiots. Yeah, like in they go up like complimenting us, said we did a great job, like even though we probably didn't, but they just were. It was really really cool. I know I keep saying it, but it was awesome. It was really really neat. He's cool. He goes, yeah, that just made my whole week.
It was awesome.
Something else I'm gonna add to this, and this is really really cheesy, but it was a building. We didn't add to this, our group, but it was a building filled with beautiful people,
Yeah.
man and female.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and I'm not saying that. The other thing that I think it's cool to see in Wheeling, I know that sounds.
I like how you preface by we didn't add to that.
We didn't add. And the other part about that is it is nice to see in Wheeling, West Virginia. Let's be honest, we do have our fucking idiots in Wheeling, and you go to some even restaurants nowadays. You go to a Naylor game. You go to different places, venues, and people just don't know how to fucking dress. Like it's like you look like they haven't showered in days, and they're just wearing fucking their pajamas.
Yeah.
It was nice to see a building filled of beautiful people that I'm not saying they were tuxedoed out,
Yeah.
but everybody was dressed,
It felt nice to dress
Yes.
that way,
Yes,
too.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it was nice to be part of something like that as well.
And here's one more thing, and then we can stop the dance talk. But you would think in a competition like that, and I'm assuming in many competitions that are in that similar format where you pitted against each other, that you would have some sort of animosity towards your other cast members or whatever. Down below that stage, backstage, you would have thought we were all part of one big team. Like everybody was complimenting each other, high-fiving us. We came off, everybody was saying such a great job. We were cheering for everybody on the stage. Guys were shotgunning beers like down in
Wow.
the stage room. We were taking shots of Captain.
No shit.
Captain and Coke, taking
yeah,
pictures
Oh,
in the
that's
bottom.
super badass.
Oh, I mean, like we get ready to go, and like people that are up in the stage, obviously they're keeping it away from the main populace because there's little kids running around and stuff like that. But like for the majority, like a guy would come down, he'd like to have a drink with everybody. We would watch it on the TV, and we'd give high fives, and another group went up and came down, and we just rotated. And everybody was so supportive. Like I was nervous, and multiple couples were saying, hey, and the pros that were in there were saying, hey, this is all you got to do. You're not going to be able to see anybody. Just do what you know what you do. Once you get out there, you're going to be fine. It was so cool how it was so nice and refreshing where everybody was working together. There was no competition there. Even after it was over, it was like, all right, it's over. I mean, we were kind of bummed we didn't win, but at the end of the day, it was just we had no stakes in it. It's not like but it was so cool. It was just so nice to see everybody being so kind to each other, and it was really, 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 really cool. It was really nice.
No, I am so glad that I went, and if it wasn't for Soup, I probably would never go to Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
But I just, what Jeff said a little bit ago, if I don't know a soul in that thing next year, I'll definitely go. It was a beautiful event.
Yeah.
Everything about it was great. I thought Tate was unbelievable.
Oh, Tate was awesome. Tate was great.
As an MC.
Shout out
But-
IC Cab.
But so, like you said, you got newfound appreciation for
Yes.
the actual art of dancing. And I do too, but just that whole event, because usually, guys like us say, oh, we're macho. We got to go watch a fucking a boxing match or
Yeah.
MMA or football. And it's like, no, that was totally different. Like you said, the venue was great. It was something we're not used to going to seeing, and I'm giving it an 11 out of a 10.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
loved it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
If Soup, we did win third place, so that was
we
good.
took third.
We
Which
won
is
third.
a big deal.
Yeah,
I know
definitely.
you want to kind of downplay that a little bit right now, but at the end of the day, I mean, Sue Campbell don't have no dancing experience, and the other thing is, and obviously I'm not trying to sell anything, it wasn't meant for us to win. At the end of the
No,
day,
I don't
it
think
really
so.
wasn't meant for us to win. And you throw in some other people, the two people that came down to the finals. I mean, the one was a cheerleader with years of dancing experience, and the other one I think had also some kind of dancing. So you're not going to win that.
There was some
No.
really good performances.
There
So
was
to
some
get
really,
third-
really good.
Yeah, to get third, and I'll be
Yeah.
honest, your guys' performance is great. It wasn't good enough to win, so I'm not trying to say that
Yeah.
either. But The cards
We'll
were,
take.
we were
We'll
definitely-
take. We got hardware.
I'll say
We got
this:
hardware.
I said this from the get go. I thought we were looked at as the underdogs for sure,
without a doubt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, with Peyton, I don't know. Peyton.
Well, Peyton's
Peyton definitely
Peyton,
helped.
Peyton, if it was her alone, she would have won. I mean,
Peyton
she
would-
would have
Peyton
broke
was-
some kind of record.
And here's
or
the
something.
selfish part too. For exposure side, I couldn't believe the amount of people, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. The amount of people that I've seen that I have not seen in a really long time at that place, like, hold on, we love podcasts. We didn't even know you guys did a podcast,
Yeah.
but that kind of stuff. So hopefully, selfishly, we get some exposure.
Good
out
to
of it
hear.
as well.
Good to
Yeah.
hear. Real quick, how nervous were you? Because
Oh my God, he was the
because
best.
Here's-
Hold on, which one were you more nervous? Was it the show of hands or this?
I told him, I said, you did Generations, the one where you couldn't even speak when you're up there.
That was
Here's
funny
a show.
as fuck. That was funny.
Here's
as shit.
the different. Yeah. So I am horrible in front of people. I've always
That's
had
so
that
not
fear.
true,
Yeah,
though.
they're
You're
not
so
wrong.
fun. You're
Well,
an
no.
idiot. You're an
Okay,
idiot with
okay.
that
I'm
statement.
maybe I'm not horrible, but I'm terrified to be in front of people.
Okay, that's
I'm
fair.
absolutely mortified to be in front of people, and I've been that way since like middle school, having to do projects in front of people.
Out of the birth
I've
canal.
hated it.
Yeah.
I've hated being in front of crowds, and I don't like it. So the difference of Generations was, number one, all of you guys were with us, and it was all of us doing it for the first time. So like we had and it wasn't a competition. So we're just up there to shoot the shit for an hour or however long we did it. So that was that. Show of Hands was also kind of different because as much as that was a competition, all I had to do was speak, and I've spoken before. I've done that before, and I'm terrible. I'm terrified of doing it, but I've also done it before. So I had some sort of. Don't get me wrong, it was horrifying. I was absolutely horrified being up there, and I think I probably shook more than I've ever done in my life. But Soup crying helped me out too, so that kind of helped me out. But this was. Number one, I'd never danced before in my life. I've never, ever, ever danced before. I don't know how to dance, and I've never, other than like me and Chris boogieing down in Ocean City.
Yes, right.
Like
right.
nobody cares about that. But I've never done a choreographed dance. Number two, I felt like it was my responsibility to do well for Soup and for Peyton. Like I didn't want to let them down at all.
That's
And
super cool, too.
that's what freaked me out the most. I was like, if I would happen to like step and fall or something, then I knew that probably the judges didn't give two shits about us three idiots being up there. But I thought, maybe if they're judging the whole routine and I, mess it up, then I pay for, or Soup has to pay for my idiocy. Secondly, it's at the Capitol fucking Theater where I'm in front of 500 people in a place that's beautiful on an actual stage, like where I'm the sole.
Yeah, the lights are.
That's it. There's nobody's paying attention to anything else but us up there. So that was another thing. And I just, again, my big thing was like I didn't want to let Soup down. That was my number one thing. I was like, all I want to do is get out there, do it, and get done. And once we did it, it was like I really didn't need to stress
Well,
that
after
much.
It was
we-
so fast.
Oh, it was so
like
fast
a
because
blink of an eye, you're
ours was
done.
like 30 seconds. Our part. Did you feel any better after you did the dress rehearsal?
No, I felt worse because I messed it up in the dress rehearsal. In the dress rehearsal, I fudged it up at the very end. There's this part at the end where you got to step out, and
He had been a
And I
mess about that part
couldn't- and I couldn't do
for
it.
weeks. He had been saying
tried
about
it.
this part where you go, you step, boom, and he said, I just can't get it.
I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried it without shoes on. I tried it with shoes on. I tried it with flip-flops on, with socks on, and I couldn't do it. And I would stand in my room and do this move over and over and over and over again. So then what freaked me out was we get back into this, and I'm like doing it with him, like trying to get my pacing down. Then it freaks me out even more because Jill, my partner, comes up to me right before we're going to go out and she says, hey, we're rushing a little bit. You got to slow down and pay attention to me. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Like now I'm so focused on that. I'm like, oh, shit. Then I knew what was going to happen because it's like when you focus on something so hard, something else goes wrong. So we go out on stage, and the whole time I'm like, I'm going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to have a heart attack and pass out or die or whatever, hit my head off the stage. And I tried to nap.
All worst case scenarios.
Yeah. That I'm not a hypochondriac. Can you tell? But I tried to take a nap 3 times that morning, and I couldn't do it. And the night before, I couldn't sleep. every time I'd close my eyes, my heartbeat would start to go, and I would start to think about being up on that stage. But we go out, and I was so focused on not messing up the part that I was messing up that I almost forgot the first part. So I'm like catching up at the first part, and then by the time we got through it, I did a decent job. But it was just so much. And then after it's over, it's like this big tidal wave of relief. But
The adrenaline rush was crazy.
that's I thought
Yeah.
I
I'd
felt like
never
that.
felt like
The
that in my
adrenaline was
life.
incredible.
Was it
awesome.
really?
Oh, it was incredible.
My heart was like, you put my hand on your heart. Jub's fucking heart was literally beating out of his chest. It was
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
I've never
sure.
felt the way that I felt after that was over. Like I literally, I felt like I could crouch down and jump through
yeah.
2 floors of the
Oh
roof.
wow.
When we put the desk out there, my heart was beating fast just for that. Like I hear Jub underneath slamming the wheels shut.
Oh
I'm
my God.
slamming them
Job was
shut.
Job was fucking.
So you
Oh.
put the desk that we have has those things that they're like once you push them down,
Locks the wheels,
it
right?
locks the
Yeah.
wheels down, and you usually do it with your foot. But I was so amped up, and I had those dress shoes on that I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. So I said, "Fuck it," and I went underneath, and I hit it so hard with my fist, I could have probably punched a
That's
hole
probably
through
what happened
the.
to that wheel.
Yeah, you're probably right. The wheel got messed up.
I hit it so hard. I hit it, but anyway, it was a great night. We did great.
Hunter,
Yeah.
just 3. Oh, you go.
Well,
Go,
I
'cause
was just
got
going to ask a
3
real
bullet
quick
points.
question. So you guys are all nervous and you practice and all the anticipation. So when you take the stage, what do you see when you look out? Do you even see people? Is it like a blur?
It's a
Because the
blur.
lights are on you. Like, did you even know like
Well, you
where
can't
your
really see the
parents were?
people. It's,
Yeah,
it's
because
like black.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
I-
the lights are so bright shining in. I mean, you can see like little bit out there, but
But obviously you're just,
yeah,
your
it's nice
focus
'cause
is not
the-
fucking up.
yeah. I actually felt pretty good. Going in like, and my partner was great. We were over there laughing and really just watching Soup, and he was having so much fun, and Peyton's flying through the air, and I'm clapping to the song. I'm like, oh, we got this.
Yeah.
So then I was smiling the whole time. So I felt pretty good. I was
That's
I
cool,
was
though.
all right. But Cools, you thought you messed up the whole thing, right?
Well, yeah, there's a part where like she swings my arms over, and I'm supposed to hold on to her hands, and my hand flies off. When I rewatched the video, it's not. It
I couldn't
looks-
even see it.
Yeah, it
Well,
looks
see,
natural. But
that's
in my
what-
head, I'm like,
yeah.
fuck, I just blew it for
But
Soup.
and I'm not exaggerating. I don't remember much of the dance.
Oh, I don't remember any of it.
I don't remember it.
I can't picture what I saw.
I think I literally blacked out.
That's
I
maybe
think
not
I
a bad
blacked
thing,
out
though.
Yeah.
It's maybe
because
not a
I
bad
couldn't
thing.
remember. The only thing I remember is getting out there and hitting my fist off the wheels,
The
and then
teat.
afterwards, I remember patting like you on the shoulder, and I was like, "All right, we got to go get the set." And then in between, then I was
it happened so
out.
fast.
So just
But-
3 things real quick. Did we get any video of the practices?
Yes,
Yes.
and I was just gonna mention that. So the full dance is on our social media. If you want to go see it, it's all on our social media. And then probably Sunday will come out. We have an entire video of the process leading up. I mean, we've filmed almost every practice session in between, going to breakfast. So all of that is
Oh,
really
that's super
really
cool.
good footage. So that'll be vlog number 4 going up
Yeah.
probably Sunday when you're hearing this.
So here's another thing, real quick. And I don't know why I'm saying this on the podcast, and people are gonna laugh at me when I say this, but so you remember when I said I had to go down to the office because I left my deodorant down there? You
Yes.
even knew I did this.
Yes.
yeah.
I was so worked up that I had to shit so bad, like I had to go so bad
That's okay,
just
though.
go
Well, then why did you
No.
go to the bridge?
Yeah, what the fuck?
because I
Where'd
went
you
in
go?
there. I went in there. There are people in there, so I was like, I have
a
to
lot
go down to
cleaner.
the studio, and like.
Did you go?
No, I went down to the studio, and before we went on the stage, I was like, I am going to shit myself on stage.
You
'cause I
never
had to
went?
go. No, I didn't go. I was too
Well,
afraid.
I was wondering why. So he calls me. So he says I gotta go. So he didn't have his keys. So he's gonna go down here, and we had deodorant down here. He says I need to go get deodorant. I'm sweating. I forgot to put it on. So I was like, oh, okay. I gave him my keys, and it was like 2 minutes later. He calls me and he goes, never mind. Hannah's bringing me deodorant.
She did though. She did bring me
And
deodorant.
he's like, no, she's bringing me deodorant. I'm coming back. I said, well, why don't you just go get it? No, it's fine. She's gonna bring it to me.
Because
So,
then I was afraid that I
Story
wasn't
behind
gonna
the
make
story.
it. Well, I was too afraid that I wasn't gonna make it back and forth before 6:30 when we all wanted to meet. So I was afraid that I wasn't gonna make it.
It was
down
like
to the
but it was
studio.
like 6
No,
o'clock.
6:03. It was 6:03, and I was walking down there, and I thought by the time I get down and back up, I was afraid.
Well,
I
I
wasn't gonna make
I
it.
knew that you were I knew that you were a mess because on the way driving to the bridge when we were gonna go eat before, he literally didn't say a word.
Yeah, he was
He's
so
sitting there
quiet.
just like
Two things real quick then. So you said 500 people, and I know you were just probably using a number. Do we have any idea how many people were there?
I don't know.
Holds
There had to be
2,000.
more than 500.
Yeah, I
It
would.
holds. That's
I
the
think
other.
that's what someone told me is it holds 2,000.
It
So
does.
what do you
Yeah,
guys,
I
what
think
do you
it's
And
guys
it
got
looked pretty
2,000,
packed
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I don't
couldn't
think there were
tell
too
what,
many
like,
upstairs.
I don't know. I
but
never.
the
I
bottom.
know
I mean, I
people
think
up
the
there, but
lower. I think the lower.
There were empty seats
Bowl.
toward the back
Yeah.
where we were sitting.
But mostly, I would say was pretty full. The bottom.
Okay.
I'd say maybe 700, 800.
That's
maybe.
what my guess would have been. It's like 800.
Okay.
Well, and it hurts because the Nailers opened up, and then the West Virginia played at 7, so that
True.
hurt their attendance. But still, hey, good
It was a
crowd.
Good
It was
crowd,
fun.
I thought.
And last thing, I know you guys are amateurs, and I get that. But is there anything, anything that you learned that could be building blocks to something else from a dance side of things? Like if you were going to go, you guys have wives right this moment, and you were getting ready to go out. Is there anything you could build off of what you learned to become quote unquote a little bit more of a dancer?
Yeah, I would do it again. I mean, not in front of people, but I would go and learn dance. Like if like Peyton ever did lessons or something with people, I'd absolutely go do it. I thought it was really cool to get to learn how to do that. But I mean, counting I think was one thing I learned. Like one,
Yeah,
two,
because our
three.
moves are for the most part pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like the little 1-2 step, I think was probably
Learn how to chasse.
Oh.
It's basically just a
Chasse.
shuffle, just a
Chasse.
shuffle. Ball step change.
Which
That's
one's
what I
that?
learned.
Is that
That's
what
This
I'm talking about?
terminology.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
What, the 2-step thing?
You like 1, 2, then slide 1, 2
Oh.
side, then you come through. You come through and then come back and then go through that way.
Yeah.
Ball step change.
I think we should go to a club and we just.
That sounds
Like
Yeah,
we should
that'd be awesome.
request that song. And then just-
To answer your question, though, I would say somewhat, but I guess it would kind of a little bit more
Bland.
fast paced
Oh.
kind. I don't know.
well, and it's so tailored to that one thing. Like it was, you didn't really learn the basics of dance. It was like more specific for that.
I'll say
Okay.
this: when we learned, like when she said, "All right, this is what you're doing," and like we kind of went over it a little bit, and then we turned the music on to do it. They were so much faster than
Oh,
us.
the first time, the
I
first
was a
time when we
fucking
did
mess.
it, when she turned the music on and they're going, I'm like, we're not gonna be able to do
Yeah,
this.
I
This
was
is like,
like, oh my
I
God.
can't keep up with them. But when we eventually got it, and
I think it'd be
the
cool if all
walkthrough
of
was-
us went and tried to do some stuff because I think it really
Oh,
wasn't.
I would do it.
It really
No
wasn't
doubt.
that hard. It was just
really fun.
memorizing everything, which is phenomenal because they have I think one of the moms told me that they like girls will have 3 to 4 acts going on that they have to practice for, which is insanity.
Did and we were backstage when this happened. Did you guys see the act that the girls did with the ladder? Did you guys turn it out?
Yeah.
Did they had the?
It was during the intermission.
Yeah, it was during an intermission
Oh,
where they had.
yeah.
You guys might have been maybe getting a beer or something. But yeah, it was what they had a
I
ladder.
remember seeing that thing with the ladder, but it, like he said earlier,
It was a little blurry,
far-
but that was
yeah,
the turning
blurry.
out girls, and they just watching that made me so nervous because we watched it earlier in the day. They're like holding the ladder and they're climbing up, and I'm like, holy shit, like they're gonna fall, like dragging each other with the ladder. And they said they called the ladder scolio because it was all bent up and they would break.
All right, so Jeff, you mentioned about with your wife like being able to dance or whoever being able to dance. All right, so this is another urban legend, and this has to do with.
Oh, jeez.
So a young woman was getting married, and she wanted to look her very, very best, and she decided that her expensive white dress would be set off by a nice golden tan. So she was going to get a tan. So unfortunately, she waited until a week before the wedding started to start her tanning sessions, which she went to every salon in her town, which I don't know how many salons in our town we could go to and get a tan, like a real tan. So she went to salon after salon that told her that she could only tan for 30 minutes twice a week to start. At that rate, she wouldn't be tan in time for a wedding, and then the bride had a brilliant idea. She would tan the maximum amount at every tanning salon because they set the limit at each tanning salon, so you can't tan for a certain amount of time at whatever salon. So she went to every tanning salon and tanned for the maximum amount of time at each place. Jesus. So the wedding day came, and the bride was beautiful, perfect tan on her. And the groom noticed that she carried a particular smell with her, and it was kind of like a rotting, like a decomposition. As the honeymoon wore on, the smell persisted and grew worse until he could no longer stand it, and then he insisted that the bride went to the hospital and got to the root of what the cause of the stench was. So the doctors examined her, but couldn't identify any source of the odor, And then the bride's health began to fail, and after a few days, she just fell over and died at the ceremony. And when the autopsy was performed, they were horrified to discover that her internal organs had been cooked.
Oh my God.
Overexposure to tanning rays, it had cooked the woman from inside out, just like a microwave oven. And in the days following the wedding, the bride had began to spoil.
Ew.
Holy shit.
No,
I
hell
can
no.
believe that more than the baby one.
Yeah, I agree.
I can believe
but
that.
I don't think that happens when you tan.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's
gonna say
different rays,
I thought she
So-
was doing 30 minutes
different waves.
So
Twice
she
a
did
week.
30 minutes at
At,
each.
like,
So
each
the,
one.
twice
the-
a week.
But yeah, but that
Oh,
was
they
that
did-
was the limit on
Oh.
each place. But she
So-
went and did 30 minutes for like a day at each. For like that day, she did 30 minutes. At, I don't know how many tanning salons, but
Well,
So probably
can
like
that
2
happen?
I don't know, to be honest with you, but I know that I would imagine
I
that
don't
would
think
be
it
good
could
for
happen
you.
like
Man,
that.
oh,
I think
man.
it would be more.
well, it's definitely not good for you.
Oh,
That's
man,
for
oh,
sure.
see,
man.
I don't think that
It would be more
but I think
instant.
it's different.
Well, I thought that tanning would just burn your outsides before it
Yeah,
burned
I
your
don't think
insides.
Well, yeah, I think it's
Actually,
a different.
don't
I think
know.
it's a different kind of wave. Like I think different waves. Yeah, like
What would you think if like when you were getting married and Cheryl just started to stink really bad?
Oh, I like
What-
when you said stench.
yeah,
That's
like
a stench.
I don't know what I would do.
Rancid.
I don't know what I'd do.
Revisit
Well, if
the
you're
marriage.
getting married, I feel like you could have that conversation.
Yeah,
Like,
especially
hey,
like, hey, my
you
wife,
smell like
she's
ass.
always, she's always, well kept, showers regularly, and then, but she's,
She
then she
smells on the
still
wedding.
smells
no
like
matter no
man.
matter how much she showers, she
Yes,
still smells
right.
like rotting flesh.
you
hey,
smell like a kidney.
hey,
Like a kid-
honey,
kidney
honey, you
bean
smell
guy.
like
Rotting organs.
honey, you just took a shower, but you still smell like shit. What's
You
You
smell
smell
wrong?
I
like
don't
your small
understand.
intestines.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah, I don't think that one's real.
This is the Debbie Downer, but to talk about marriage, you guys read about the poor couple that they both are graduates of Franciscan. They were on their honeymoon, and the husband passed away. He was in a wave runner accident. and
Ooh,
I know they
jeez.
were in like Aruba or something. Can you imagine?
Man, that sucks.
On the
You
honeymoon?
Those things
Yeah,
are
on the
dangerous.
fucking honeymoon,
Ugh.
man. That's just horrible.
Oh,
man.
I think I
Bad.
saw that on. I think I saw
So,
that on
so
the
bad.
news. Jeez.
I don't
That's
know why
just
that was a Debbie Downer. But
No,
Well,
but
that's
it's
still
horrible.
terrible.
Absolutely
No,
horrible.
Jet skis are scary.
Hey,
They are scary at times, man. They're fun,
So
but
if
they're
you,
scary.
if you
fun.
ever go jet skiing and you go with Nick, be careful.
Yeah.
Why, is he an
Nick is
idiot?
the most reckless.
He's a fucking idiot.
That's
Because
why-
it's not. It's nothing to fucking.
It's
No,
not.
it's so
man, not at all.
dangerous.
You got it. That's why I like when we go as a group, unless we're like chilling out and going to look at stuff. I'm way away from
Yeah.
everybody because
I'm
I'm
a little
like it.
reckless too, but I'm pretty
well,
aware.
you're aware. You know
I've been driving them
you
for
have
a long time.
you know how to have fun with it.
Nick's
and
the
be-
kind of
and be
guy that wants
smart.
to go across to splash you, and I don't think he realizes how close he's gonna get. I'm
you're
gonna
going
text
40,
him about this.
you're
But he'll
going
blow
40.
right past you to splash you, and I'm like, Jesus, dude, you could have just ran
Oh wow.
right into me.
Well, and
Right.
Numbnuts 1 and 2, Nick and Soup went out and didn't
Yeah.
bring
Oh,
life
yeah,
jackets.
Well, we only had one. Soup was on the back without the life.
in his
vest.
underwear.
who would do that?
no,
His
I thought
underwear.
Nick said he didn't wear one.
Because I had one, so I feel like he would.
I thought
Maybe
those
not.
two said they didn't have one.
Regardless, it was about to rain. The waves
Yeah,
were
it's
30
just,
feet.
it's one of the
They
dumber
fall
things
in the water.
they've done.
And then you guys claim you saw a shark.
I swear to God. I saw it. I still swear to this day.
Yeah, I'd
It
have been
swam
out of
up
that
right
water.
between
Fuck
us.
that. I'd have been out.
Oh,
Please.
we zoomed out of there.
Yeah,
You can ask
screw
Nick
that.
about it. Big
Alright.
ass shark pulled up right between our jet skis.
Last thing, and then we'll get off of here. So this is you're talking about bad honeymoons. A new bride. They apparently it was tradition in their family that after the wedding, they would go to the bride's house. It was a big mansion, and they'd play hide and seek. So they, for whatever reason, so the
For whatever reason.
the bride, the husband's counting, and everybody in the family goes and hides, and bride goes upstairs into the attic, and she finds this big trunk, like a big chest. Opens the chest, gets in, she closes the lid, and it locks from the outside. So now she's stuck in the chest. Days go by, weeks go by, they never find her, and then they end up calling off the search. So the husband, which I think, number one, I'll pause this real quick. If somebody went missing in your house, you would tear the house
Yeah.
apart. The house would be rubble by the time. So they can't find her. Guy gets married again. Or sorry, it was the groom's tradition. Groom gets married again, brings him to the house. What do? Nothing horrible happened last time. So they take hide and seek. Bride goes upstairs to the trunk, opens it up. she finds the other bride's
Oh
dead
my
body
god.
in the trunk.
You know what?
So she could find it, but
Here's the funny part about it. I can believe that. I can buy into that a little bit, and that's a little absurd.
I'd say out of the other two, that's probably the most
I can buy
believable.
into that.
I guess.
That could actually happen. But
Yeah.
you're right, though, Job. I mean, you're going to search that house. You're going to search any box, a
Anything.
chest.
Yeah, if
And-
you're playing hide and seek.
Right.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you're
I'd
gonna
search
try to-
cabinets. I'd search everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're fucking trying to find somebody.
Another story with a bad stench.
So it says, so it says
Idiots.
that this tale first appeared in print in the form of a poem by Samuel Rogers entitled Ginevra in some Italy, published book. And it was 1822. And the guy says that the story is, I believe, founded in fact, though the time and place are uncertain. Many old houses lay claim to it. I don't believe that for a second. But
So which one is more believable to you out of the three that you said?
Probably. Probably the second one, but not because her organs are cooked. I would say probably just because she had like overexposure to UV or something. But I'd say if I have to base it on the facts of the story, I would say the third one.
Cools?
I think the first one's the most believable.
The baby?
Really?
I can see someone tripping
Yeah, I
all
guess I
crazy.
could
Like
see
I think
that.
I feel like it's happened.
I
Oh, wow.
I think that has a similar.
Like we've
thing
had
as
someone
that.
put a baby in a microwave and stuff. But why wouldn't somebody eat one?
Who put a baby in a microwave?
Didn't that one?
I think there's probably been
What's the-
fucking plenty of people.
Probably.
It was a
right
girl.
now,
I forget what the girl's name is. She's like real famous for this. I thought.
Oh wait, the mom.
Yeah.
She's like.
Or maybe it was an oven or something. I forget. But she
Oh.
killed the kid.
Yeah, I do know that.
I hope we did the same thing to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my wish.
agree.
No, I
Jared, you
think
already
she
gave
got
the answer?
off.
Yeah, I
somehow.
said three.
Yeah,
I think
no,
three.
I
She
think
got off.
I think Cooley's right. I think she's out of prison. I think she's out free.
Because I remember seeing something where like she was struggling to get a job or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck her. Good.
But
Yeah,
She
she
shouldn't be
needs
out
to be
fucking
dead.
it, yeah.
Jeff, to me, I can't see how number three. I can't believe that they couldn't find that person. So
Yeah.
I out of the three, I would probably take number two.
Okay.
You?
Jeff?
I mean,
I would say three. That would be mine.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
They're all
Alright.
fucking ridiculous.
yeah, they're all
There we
stupid.
go.
Then
That was-
anyone in that was part of that hide and seek is a fucking
They're the
total.
worst hide and
Moron.
seek players ever.
Yes.
Everybody in that house was stupid.
Yeah, like how could she have found it to hide it, but none of those other people could go up and find?
Yeah, I
I'd
guess.
just be like if you played like outside in your yard or right around your property and you saw a garbage can that had a lid on, you would never think to look into that.
No.
Well, like,
Yeah.
did
I mean,
they
what
ever
the
check the
hell?
attic and she wasn't like banging on it?
That's
Right.
what I said. You would
Right.
be screaming.
Oh, yeah. You'd eventually hear that, I would think, man.
Yeah.
There'd be enough quiet in the
And
house at one
Unless he
time.
set it up.
They
that
said
way.
that she
Oh,
died.
yeah.
Oh.
They said that she died of hunger, but it takes you like a week to die of
You
hunger.
die of
I figured
thirst
she would
first.
die of like oxygen. I figured she wouldn't be able to breathe inside
Well,
that thing.
either
die of
way.
That's a
thirst
good point,
first.
Coles.
Either
It's really
way, the bitch is dead.
Dead.
Well, what are you buying into?
I said the second one probably, but
See,
I,
but I'm
you don't-
taking two.
I feel like you would die instantly from being
cook.
overheated. Yeah, it wouldn't be like, oh, 4 days later I finally quit cooking.
I'm just thinking because I know I shared the story on this again, but I'm just gonna say the whole hide and seek game. Remember, I used to work with that cat, and it's not funny, but it is super funny because the dude was a fucking idiot. But yeah, unfortunately, he was probably driven by his, unfortunately, his disease because it is a disease, Tourette's. He had just Tourette's, and it is sad. It's so sad. I'll never forget that dude that I worked. He said, "Man, I bet you were fucking horrible at hide and seek back then." So wrong. It'll never get old. It never gets old.
True though.
Well,
Good point.
there you go. That's a little bit of a wrap up to Halloween for you. A couple spooky, dumbass stories. But thank you for joining us for episode 83 of the Pioneer Podcast. Myself, Jeff, Chris, Jarrett, and Cooley. We appreciate you joining us, and we're on our way close to 100.
It's crazy.
On our way. We got some big things coming up for the Pine Room, so stay tuned in for a lot of things we're doing. I know we say that sometimes, but in 2024 is going to be
It's gonna be a hell of a year.
a hell of a year for us here at the Pine Room, and then we're going to enjoy this Saturday coming up. Enjoy
Saturday's gonna
it.
be fun.
Yeah,
Saturday's gonna be a
enjoy
lot
it.
of
Good
fun.
weekend coming up.
Yes.
Until then, unless anybody's got anything else,
No, sir.
nope. All right.
Peace.
Until then, we'll see you
Good night.
next time in the Pine Room.
Later.
Bye-bye.